happen to know. And now I'm gonna go live. Oh, it says live video is starting, but I think we are going live now. Oh yeah, we are live, guys. Guys, today I have, oh my gosh, special guest, Dr. Maria Power, powerhouse, powerful. Welcome, Maria. I let you to introduce because you are amazing. We had a chat with Maria, and there's, oh my gosh, so much Maria went through, so much she did. And it's just wow, Maria. I don't have words. So please introduce yourself. And first of all, welcome.
Thank you to everyone. Thank you, Ingrida, for this special invitation. And yes, so I'm an addictions specialist doctor. I've been practicing for the last 15 years. I've done quite a lot of things, a couple of thousand clients up my belt. And really the most important thing is I've also taught in schools, been keynote speaking. And I was just showing you the video clip before. I've got 2 books, Clean, How to Sober Up, Stay in Recovery and Fall in Love with Yourself Again. And the funny thing is, before it was that, the name of the book was actually Kill Your Addictions Before It Kills You, How I Transformed My Life of Addictions, Bipolar, and Suicide. But, as I become stronger in my recovery, I really didn't want to wear those tags anymore of where I was sick, psychiatrically institutionalized, all the dark past. I kind of wore it off already. So now the new title, Clean, is more representative of my 12 years in recovery. So yeah, addiction specialist doctor. And, we've got a few things that we're organizing at the moment, which is the Supercharge Your Recovery community that we have. But yeah, I've got a lot of stories to tell when it comes to addiction recovery because it's actually what I've been through in my past. So I'm not sure where you want to go with it or how you want to do it, but
If
yeah.
you're comfortable, only if you're comfortable to go back into your past and
Yes.
share with us, because I personally have my own addictions that I can't break them. And your story, it just was like, what? This is amazing. Like, this is only if you're comfortable to share with the audience.
Yes. Well, of course, because the book is about the story. And I think the comfort level with it, because I've got 12 years in recovery. So it was Valentine's Day 2013 that I turned my life around. And guess what? How I did it, Ingrida? In a monastery. So I shaved my head and went into a monastery. So it was a Shaolin, it was a Taoist or a Shaolin temples where you do martial arts all day, yoga, qigong, gardening, meditate for about 4 or 5 hours. And I think I needed that to be able to drop quite. So when it comes to addiction, there's all your hard drugs, which is your methamphetamine, your cocaine, your party drugs like ecstasy. And then now, a really big thing would be fentanyl. So they would use that to cut all the street drugs. And then there's your medications, which is your opiates and your benzodiazepines and quite a lot of other drugs that are quite addictive, right? And then there's your drinking, which is also number 2 in the world. Number 1 is nicotine. Number 2 is alcohol. Number 3 is medication addiction. And then number 4, is all the other. Oh, well, number 4 is weed. To be honest, now that cannabis is legalized, that's
Mm.
number 4. So there are plenty of addictions to substances, right? And there are also plenty of other addictions, which is to gambling and porn and sex, right? Shopping and sugar. So all these are symptoms. And these symptoms I actually had in my life. So everything from top to bottom I've had. But that came from so I was born in the Philippines and I came to Australia on my own at 11 years old because my mom was also too busy doing her life of addiction, right? So it kind of ran in the family on my mother's side. My father's side are all upstanding, beautiful kind of Filipino family, really good family values. But my mom was something else. So I came to Australia when I was 11, and poverty was kind of a main thing in the Philippines. I lived with all my uncles and my dad. There was 8 of us in this house, and it would be like $800 a month, right? So it was quite small, but it was a very warm and happy family in as much as it can be. But they hated my mother for what she did to what she was doing at that time, which is all the different kind of bad stuff. Let's just call it, right? Addictions to men and things like that. So they vilified my mother, and in turn, I became like the Cinderella. I went to all my aunties and uncles' places and help with the housework, do the cooking, do all of that type of thing. So I went to Australia at 11, and then it didn't get any better because at my mom's care, she wasn't really there for me. She was too busy doing her stuff, right? So I raised myself from 11, and then I got caught stealing when I was about 14, got sent back to the Philippines, and then I came back to Australia a year later, living on my own. So you can imagine someone, you have kids, Ingrida?
I don't. No, I don't have
No,
kids.
yeah, but you can imagine a 15-year-old with no parental guidance would
Mm,
just get into everything and anything. And that's what I did. So by the time I was 18, I was already doing really bad things. I was implicated with a lot of gangs, whether it's Triad or Yakuza. So I went to Japan, did more bad things there, and it was just one after the other until 26 years old. I had my first psychiatric institutionalization here in Australia, and it kind of progressively just, I'd go to Japan, I got institute I went to a psych ward there, Philippines a few times, America as well. So, 12 times in and out of psych wards does not help the heart and the soul. If anything, I feel like the mental health care in public institutions really doesn't help cure the matter of addiction and mental health issues. If anything, it makes it worse, just like jails do, and just like the things that restrict you and vilify you and make you feel
mm,
less than is not really the answer. So I guess throughout that path, I always loved reading, and I always went to school. So I actually finished my psych degree, my master's in public health, which specializing in alcohol and drug studies, what you call it, and then my PhD as well. So, over the years, no matter what happened, I still had a voracious appetite for knowledge. And then I went to a monastery when I became sober in 2013. So all of that experiences, I actually became a life coach at 26, somewhere in that messy life, well, you probably don't know, but when I was living a double life all the time. And I would have this front that I would show people. I'm a this, I'm a that. I taught English, I did modeling, I did fashion modeling, I had a modeling school. So I have my front of what I would show people to look legal and look good. And then I'll have this other things that people shouldn't be doing that I was doing.
mm,
So the lesson in all of that is I can be of service to the people that I have been coaching ever since I became sober. So even if my practice is 15 years old, the first 3 years was trial and error. It was me trying to get off all the bits and pieces, which was in the monastery, and really writing my book helped me. I think the shame part of everything that I've done is so apparent in the beginning. That's why I was hiding. But the writing of the book is like a such a relief to kind of just get it out there. This is who I am, love it or leave it. These are the lessons, let's go. Let's change our life together. So luckily for me, I was able to turn that around. And then that's what my thesis was about, is about holistic care. And you're a functional medicine practitioner, and you do gut health. So gut health is such an important component, but holistic means it's mind, body, and soul. So every organ in the body affects every other organ in the body. And the drug or the addictive behavior also fires different structures that affects every other organ in the body. So it's just one big blob of mess, right? With addiction recovery. So I guess the 15 years of study gave me the theory, and the practical experiences gave me the practical experiences, the dark world, so that as I surmounted my own path, I was able to help people surmount their own demons.
It's so beautiful, Maria. It's absolutely amazing. And you also talk about, oh, I just so much to talk, and I don't know which question I want to ask first.
I know there's like, wow, there's so many. Hang on, where do I go? You talked about every single drug, you talked about behavioral, you talk about holistic.
Yeah.
And that's probably why it's very hard for someone to do the job that I do well, because you really, you don't need to have it, but if you do, then you have the keys to all the pieces of the puzzle, right. So if I'm sure as a functional, like, for the gut health, you got here because you would have had issues as well, and you needed to know kind of the back end of it and study it with a fine-tooth
Mhm.
comb. It's the same with addictions. If you don't know how cocaine affects the cognitive ability and what organs it affects, it's going to be very hard to transform it, right? So that's probably the superpower that I have, is I
Mhm.
know each drug and behavior because I was ensconced in it for 25 odd years. So 36 was when I became sober. I'm 48 now, right?
Yeah.
So for a all part of my life was just going deep into the subject matter, and then the last 12 years is transforming all of that one by one, and it requires a lot. It requires a discipline to be able to do that, to eat well, to exercise calmness amidst the
Yeah.
barrage of life, right? To not have the anxiety when I was tied to beds and I was probably the most insane person you can find. Yeah, it really is. That's why you were asking me, is that you? And a lot of people always ask me that. What is that? What? And then and then I've known a lot of people from my childhood, my teens, my 20s, that has seen me, and everyone just can't believe what was happening or what I was doing when they
Yeah.
finally found out, because there'll be people that dealt with me from a professional level that didn't know that I had that, and then there's the underworld that dealt with me that couldn't think that I would transcend all of it. So
Maria, can I ask you, what is the strongest drug that people are taking, or I don't know, and what is happening then in our bodies, in our mind, what it does to us? Because it's hard to get out. Like we see so many drug addicts. It's once you're on the drug, that's how I think. This once you in the drugs, there's no way you can get out. But you
it's
did it.
really quite compromising, because just remember, every single drug has an ingredient to give you the dopamine hit, you're right, the serotonin hit, the ephedrine hit. So each drug is strong and it gives you the feeling without you being in that state. So it'll make you feel happy when you're not happy. It'll make you feel energized when you're not energized. It'll make you forget the pain, like all the opioids come in pain killing. And really, the pain killing component is just squishing the pain of where the brokenheartedness has come from, which in addiction recovery or in addiction, there's a trauma or an event that happened that perpetuates the need to escape from the pain, right? So so it depends on the drug. It stimulates a part in the brain circuitry that gives you and mimics the effect of happiness or pain killing, or energy, right? Or confidence, squishes the anxiety. So all these mood enhancers, whatever you know what the big thing as well, Ingrida, is steroids. It's actually quite common in the people that go to the gym normally. If they're big, chances
Yeah.
are, if their muscle are just like, that's a
Yeah.
bit too much,
Yeah.
chances are they're doing steroids. And even athletes are doing a lot of performance
Oh,
enhancing
you
drugs as
touched
well.
something here. Oh my gosh, you touched something here, and I can share it a little bit. It's about you, but because we are talking drug addictions, so I'm coming from bodybuilding, and I used to do bodybuilding, and I
There you
remember
go.
my first coach would be like, Ingrida, you are working so hard, but you're never gonna be placed as a number one.
If you don't do this.
Oh, he didn't even say it, but I got the message. If you don't take
Yes.
steroids, no matter how
Yes.
hard you work, you're never gonna be placed. Well, I proved him wrong anyway. I was placed, but without the steroids. But I just want to understand a little bit better because I never really looked into the addiction, the how you get addiction when like the steroids can make you addicted as well, right? And it also
Yes.
damages your
Yes.
body
Yes.
as well.
Yes. Well, the steroids can make you addicted. That's debatable whether it can make you addicted. It's the emotional, it's the feeling of
Yeah.
that's what gets you addicted, right? The
Mhm.
steroid itself is not like the opioids or the benzodiazepines or the nicotine, which is an addictive component. The steroids is not addictive per se, although it does have quite a lot, not as much as nicotine or alcohol or anything like that, but it's really the body dysmorphia. It satiates that feeling of I feel less than. It gives them the illusion that, hey, I've got this thing in my head that gives me strength, but it doesn't really give them strength. I don't, well, maybe it does. I haven't, that one I haven't tried, I must say, but everything else I have. So I can't give you an exactness. I can just go by the books of what it is doing to the brain, the brain circuitry. Yeah, which is that feeling that they can't get naturally from their own confidence. So they'll mask it with the feeling of strength and power through the aesthetic look of their body.
Gosh, you are talking. I completely understand what you are saying because that was me. Without it, I didn't do the drugs. I never did the drugs. But I understand what you are saying. The confidence, once you build more and more muscle, you become more and more stronger. This confidence and
Yes.
seeking for me was also seeking for approval for other people. Look,
Yes.
now I'm now look, I grow this like took me whatever years. Here is me, like half naked. Please
Yes.
love me, love me.
I think when we approach a certain age and maturity, we get to that. But unfortunately, a lot of people don't get to that. You know, the insecurity is still somewhere in deep inside of us, right? And that can only be found, I feel, in stillness. So the days, the 5.5 years in the monastery was the best days of my life because I was like 5 hours in meditation. And that's when God or the holy, the place where you can't reach, the peace, the serenity, the love, that pristine strength, the real one, right? Not the made up one. I think that's when you can really talk within you because it's inside of us, right? So that's, yeah, that's why. Yeah.
It's amazing, Maria. And the so in the when you were closed up in the monastery, were you like all this meditate, or was it just a 5 hours a day? Is it like dark room and there's nothing, no notes, nothing?
I know.
That's how I imagine.
Not a fantasy. It's actually real. You know, you wake up at 4 in the morning and you do your inner work, which is just clear the mind and just don't think anything. Well, you'll be thinking everything, but that's really it happens. That's the function of the mind is the thinking, right? So you find where it's at, and then you just sort through it as you can, right? So there's no proper way of meditation except to just not move. Really, right? And it's very hard to not move and not go where the thoughts go. Oh, I got to write that down. Oh, I got to go. Oh, I'm hungry. Oh, I'm thirsty. Oh, I'm right. So you'll have that in the first hour, and then go beyond that and beyond that. Then you find all the answers to life's questions within meditation. It really is. So the more stillness you have, the more cleaner your thoughts are, right? But people don't have 5 hours. They think they don't, but they can watch Netflix for 3 hours. scroll for 2 hours. Like, really? I think you just really pretty much meditated without meditating. So it's just the intention of going within and to partake of the sacredness of your mind. Because, like, how much of a miracle are we really? All the functions of all of our organs in such symmetry, in such precision, and we don't even pay attention. We're just like, yeah, moving along, but all the power is within us, our cells, our mitochondria, all of the aspects that we don't ask for. How in tune are we with that, right? Because your body will tell you everything if you only made time to listen, you know, which is like so important in today's world. We're all distracted, aren't we? We're like,
Easily.
go, go, go. I need more people in this and that. We need more interviews.
But that's true. It's so much social media, so much noise, and we live like it just, and we know maybe some people know that the power is in me and I have everything inside of me, but because of that noise, we shut off everything. Like this, you
Yes.
can't hear it. What's my power inside? Because there's a lot of feeding in the background as well.
Yes, yes, the
Yeah.
circuitry. There's just like, well, it's just if you can hear your brain talk, and I can now, and I can see through auric fields and all sorts of beautiful things that are called mystical, but really it's just found if you can go within you, right? Because it's so loud. And people that when I was in the hospital, people would say I was having a schizophrenic right? And it was because I was abusing drugs and alcohol and all the bits. So yes, because it's toxic, then it's not clear channel. But now that I'm clear, I can hear people's thoughts, where they're going, what they're doing. Because I'm so clear with my own that you can actually feel everyone else's. So it's now like a superpower. That's why I changed my name to Power, because I can give advice, or I can work with people by asking their permission to be in tune with them, and then boom, giving them the downloads or the information that they need to be able to better and better their life. So yeah.
This is amazing. How long did it take you to get into your superpowers, to tap into the insights and actually have those that you now actually in control of everything? You can download these files, whatever next for you. What's the next level? You literally have that inside.
I think gosh, I think it's all innately, all of us have this when we were born into this world, right? And then we got distracted. And then we went here and there and there and there and there and here and there, right? So for me specifically, because I guess if I think about it, right? Think of it with me. If I was with the gangs and if I was making people buy this and that and the other, the things are not good for them. And if I can source this and ingest it, I must have some sort of power and money to be able to go and live this life. So that was inherently in there. It just wasn't used the right way. So when I turn that around and use that power for good rather than toxicity and things that were not healthy and good for me, that's the real change in it of itself. And it started for me at the monastery because I put everything down and I was pretty much in a fetal position and just crying and going, oh my God, I'm a terrible human being. What have I done? How embarrassing, how shameful. There is no way I should be made to live. This is like the epitome of the lowest of low. How can I face my life having have lived that? But that's the first step. That's the first step that people cannot get to, because especially with my past and unfortunately what I've been through with girls on OnlyFans and Pornhub things getting 80 billion views for one sick video. I mean, we have a society that is just so out of touch with our inner world, right? And our gut is exactly the second brain. It tells us if we care to listen, right? And then yes, there are things that we can ingest outside of ourselves, but the magic happens when we don't need to go to those outside things. But that might not be in this lifetime, right? Because we've done so much to our body that we need to go and substitute one with the other, especially if we're going to go and substitute cocaine with something that's good for our gut, that will detoxify, that will decalcify, those types of things. And other people would have the words in their practice to know what those what they are. I'm more of a holistic, and I point them to the right people, but I do a lot of healing work, like hands-on healing, quantum healing, whatever you want to call it. And I have my guys, or the higher entity, and it's not evil or anything like that, and you can tell exactly who's evil and what's evil by the way the vitality they have. Like at 48 now, I think when people meet me, they can feel that there's a goodness in us, right, in the people that have it. Like you said, heart-centered.
Mhm.
People can feel it, just like you can feel someone's toxic, right? If someone looks at you and then you're like, oh my God, that's just so gross. That's just like, oh, get me out of this room. That same type of feeling. And unfortunately, because people are siloed on their phones and in little rooms doing goodness knows what perverted thing, everyone's just like keyboard warriors now and really fighting a very imaginary fight in their head of something that's not real anymore. People are lost in their mind of confusion. So, we've got a lot of work to do. We do.
This is amazing, Maria. And do you want to touch like a little bit on when you get people who are actually with a very serious addiction, they ask, Maria, can you help me? Is it's not clear, it's not one-off, is a consultation. You have probably a program that you help them.
Yes, correct. Now I have a program. It used to be, well, I think, and you know what? It still needs to be one-on-one. I just kind of don't want to be the one to give it anymore because I've done it for 15 years. So I'm going to train people. We're going to record everything, because addiction is healed and treated by not being in shame. It shouldn't be like no one knows what happened, right? It should be. So for my thesis, all of my sessions were video recorded. And that's when I can refer them back to their denial pattern, denial mechanism that they're holding on to. I can refer them back to their word of how it wasn't aligned. Oh yeah, Maria, I'll do anything to do this. I'll do, oh, my kids need me, my this and that. And they tell you everything is like, yeah, we're recording. And then 8 sessions later, remember this? And I'll make them hear it. Just like a good coach for any sport. You look at your play and you look at your lies and you look at your promises that were broken. And that's how I started to save them or fix their broken thinking, by listening, making them listen to their own promises and their own misguided whatever. Are you coming down? Is that why you said that? Right? Like whatever it was. And I think that's going to be the way it has to be. That's why we're recording this interview. That's why people are recording things now, so that we can look at our past and go, how do I make that better so I don't keep lying to myself or to my practitioner or whatever, right? And I think me telling my story and having the books and having all of that, that sets people at ease, that I'm not there to judge them, because my past is dirtier and yuckier than anyone else's. So if I can be here in this position, what's your excuse? Right? Like,
Exactly.
okay, so you were bullied, but I never minimize or belittle them. I'm just saying that this is where I'm from. This is how I try, like, and that's all I need to say. And then like back to you. So that's why it's coaching that I do. And it is therapeutic, but I don't focus on the bad stuff. I don't focus on the pathology of addiction, on the dis-ease model, because we can get stuck there. And they
Mhm.
vilified me and stuck me there for 13, who knows how long, 13 times in and out of psych wards. No one told me I was amazing or God's miracle. No one told me that I can transform. They just said, no, have this, Respirador, have this Abilify, have this to take out the pain, have this to counteract the pain, have this to sleep, have this to wake up, have this to feel energy, have this to calm down. I'm like, what the? That's like 14 drugs now. I'm a bigger drug addict now. So, who's supplying the next dependence? And really, the big lesson or the big question is, why is there a dependence in the first place? When we need to keep exploring that, and we don't let it go. Just like any sport, you've got a tackle coach, you've got a kicking coach for bodybuilding, your grip, your what you take, how you eat, your poses. It's the same with addiction. Every single minutia counts. And that's why holistic is great, because you can take care of the gut, someone else will take care of all the parts, but I won't refer to anyone until they've been in my community and I know what they do on a day to day, on an hour to hour, right?
Mhm.
So I'll refer the ones that I have transformed, or the ones that are, partaking in our community, just like in yours,
Mhm.
because how can I refer someone if I don't know how they are on a personal level? People
Mhm.
say, oh no, my personal life is different to my work life. I beg to differ with you. It's how you do one thing is how you do the next. So if in your personal life you're an unavailable parent and you don't care about people and you don't have the manners, the graces, and you don't take care of your body and what you eat and all the things, then why would I refer anyone to you?
Mhm. Yeah. Oh my gosh,
Right.
Maria.
So yeah.
Wisdom. Maria, with you, when so you now all like everything is clear and perfect and you help a lot of people, how do you start your day, your routine? Is there anything that you practice that actually helps you to be sharp in here and actually not to want to go back into the drugs, into things that you were addicted in the past? What are these
Yes.
tools that maybe you do if you
So
open
much.
here?
When I share with my clients, they're like, but we can't do that. You were in a monastery. And I'm like, no. It so for me, like my partner now is doing the Kangen water. We got a mineral bath that we're gonna go and jump into as soon as I finish this. So we have our Epsom salts, mineral baths, essential oils, right? Every night, practically. Ice baths. In the morning, as soon as I wake up, I've got that hour where I'm just like, don't do anything. I just sit in front of the sun and I'm just like, okay, without intending, without doing any of that yet, just that first hour of silence, without touching my phone, without touching anything, put the essential oils on again, candles, put some chant music or whatever in the background to just set the space, and just come from that being instead of doing, thinking, planning, acting, actions and things like that. And yeah, and I do martial arts. I do I go to the gym, I do yoga practically every day. So I definitely have to have my body done, eat well, prepare food. I mean, it's a lifestyle, isn't it? There's not one thing. I really don't like it when people go, what's the one thing? I mean, not that I don't like it, because it's not. It's a culmination. It's the sum of all the parts of all the goodness that we give to ourselves, right? And sex is good. Sorry.
Oh
It's
my God, by the way, let's stop this. Yeah,
well,
so
I think intimate moment with your partner, if you can have it every day, it's the greatest drug. I'm just saying. Like
yeah,
it is, right? So that needs to, that opening up, that intertwining, that feeling of connection and intimacy coming from such a deep place, not just
yeah,
shallow, right?
yeah,
So there's this a lot of things, isn't there? And
yes.
of course, there's supplements. I'm doing detox, and I see a lot of naturopaths and things like that. So as I need it, when my body tells me, oh, there's something going on here or here or here or here, then I look into it immediately, but keep a clean house, keep a clean mind, read a lot, be silent in the beginning part of your day. Make sure you're doing something with your body every day because your body is your temple. So those are like little things. Eat well. I mean, it's simple. It's simple when you get to a place where it's simple. But getting there, just one little bit of that change is a big thing, isn't it?
Mhm.
For
And when
people nowadays.
you're 48 years old now, and you are, I was like, I couldn't believe it. Can you tell us a little bit of what, I'm very curious. What did you do?
Well, I
You look
yes.
so good.
Well, now that I've got a partner 14 years younger, it definitely helps me keep the youth. So he's
Okay,
34,
so
I'm
partner has
48.
to be at least 14 years old,
No,
young.
hang on. Let me
Hold on,
just
hold on.
be
Partner,
a cougar.
10 years old, 14 years younger. Okay,
No,
got it.
well, you know what I mean. Like, be with
Joking.
someone that you can, well, yeah, if you can, if you're single, with the vitality that you want, right? Choose the person that's going to give you the things that you may think in your head as a weakness or somewhere like, because for me, I actually put on weight before I met him because I was single for a long time. And I was just like giving up on life, going, oh my God, I'm going to be those spinsters. Like, oh, what have I done with life? Who's going to accept my past, right? They're gonna listen to that. And then, when dating, and then I would say, oh, this and that, and they'll be like, and I'm like, oh crap. There's gonna be a problem, you. I met someone that's gone through those types of things in early recovery. So he knows about that life. And I think that's what I needed. Someone that can understand and not look at me and go, oh my God, but like I understand that because I was there and now I'm changing my life. So together we can change our life. And yeah, it's really important to just take care of your body. I think and you're the same. It looks like you don't wear makeup as well. Like I think wearing makeup really ages the skin because I used to wear
Yeah,
that
it does.
before, and I not wearing makeup helps the skin breathe, essential oils, natural products, all these things. It's just, and when you have love in your heart, I think you will just naturally reverse your aging because there's so much antioxidants in love and unconditional love, right?
I love that. It does resonate. It does sit with me. And is there any one food or maybe few foods that you eat because you know this is good for me, for my skin, for the way I look, for
Yeah, I mean,
energy?
they say honey, onions, ginger, right? But really, I think what we need to do is what's good for one may not be good for someone,
Absolutely.
right? So, what you need before you start eating well, and you need to really clear the mind so you can actually listen because your body will tell you, your gut will tell you. Your gut is your biggest brain, right? So, seek out people like yourselves that knows that well. But when you choose your practitioner, make sure they look the part. So if you want what they have, if they look a certain way, don't think you're gonna get anything more. Sounds bad, but it's true. Answer is no. Seek another practitioner because you want the vitality. It needs to show in their every pore. I'm not saying they need to look like a supermodel. They just need to look healthy, right? Just healthy. At whatever age, everyone can look healthy. And they need to speak a certain way, so people are like they go to the medical to the hospital, and yeah, sometimes it's good, but if they can't even give you more than 5 minutes and that's your consult, chances are you're not in the right place because my consults are an hour, 2 hours, and even then we can't even get to our stuff. Right? Because it needs to be long and it needs to be rigorous and it needs to be intensive, and there needs to be continuity. Right? I need to see you for a couple of years before we can, especially addiction. Come on. Come on.
Absolutely, absolutely, Maria. Oh my gosh, Maria,
Mhm.
this is so powerful. And Maria, So before we gonna go, I just would like you, maybe you would like um to tell people once more how you work and how can people contact
Sure.
you, and then absolutely after we finish, you please do put your details in the comment. Um,
Yes, I can
but
do that.
just tell us again how exactly you work and how can people reach you. You on fully online, or you maybe still do like 50/50. Just everything is so interesting. If you could, please.
Oh, thank you. So at the moment, see, we've got the Supercharge Your Recovery community. So it's a free Facebook group. We're on there a lot. And then we have our Go Collab app, which is our community, which is Supercharge Your Recovery community. And so, they download a PDF so that they can know about me, the one I sent you. They can see that I've had the experience. And really, it is anyone that is going through any type of substance use issues, which is all the illegals, all the medications, the alcohol, and then the fentanyls, all the bits, the cocaine, all of that, as well as the drinking, nicotine, and then there's your gambling, there's your porn and sex addiction, there's all the gamut of other behavioral addictions, which is shopping, hoarding, right? So there's food on the binge eating, that the people that are addicted to that. Yeah, so there's a whole gamut of things, and what I do is a holistic, unique way of dealing with them, but we do it in a group session because what one person, if you're shy and if you're hiding, well, that's what's going to keep your addiction going. We need to be open, we need to talk, and the more we talk in a group, the more they're going to realize, oh my god, what I thought was so uncommon, everyone's going through it, right? So that's why I know now that the group model will help, because I've had a few downloads and a few things that I've seen in my meditation and things like that. So now I'm going to the group model, although I may have still some one-on-one slots available, but our Supercharger Recovery community is only $100 a week at the moment. So there's 3 Zoom sessions, a training, a coaching, and a healing 3 times a week. So it there's no excuse. I'm not a rehab. You can come in, you can partake, and then that's it. And then I've got a first 99 days in recovery, which is starting from 0 to 99. Drop one specific addiction. Is it nicotine? Is it face? Is it scrolling? Is it right? Fentanyl? Is it this, that, the other? So that I've also got a course for only 100. It's a 3-day offer, and it's got 16 lessons and 16 PDFs. So everything that I know in my PhD, in my work with people, I've put it all there. And then we've got your Supercharge Your Recovery community. So I'll give you the links to that.
Yeah, please,
The
if you could post this as well under the comments, guys. This is amazing, especially if you're hiding inside and you have a lot of shame about it and you're not able to talk about it. Because, yeah, the shame stops us, right? From you just in our
It's
own
the
world.
lowest in the scheme of vibe
Yeah,
or hertz, right?
yeah,
Shame is the second last. Number one, yeah. No, it is the bottom. And
the
then guilt
bottom. Yeah.
above that. Yeah,
Oh,
it
yeah,
is the
I saw
bottom.
your spiral. You sent me the documents and there was a spiral thing. And I don't
Yes.
remember now. So the shame would be at the bottom. Yeah,
Yeah, it's at the bottom because
yeah,
it's when you're hiding. So when
yeah.
you're contracted and hiding and you don't want to accept a part of yourself, that's what's going to eat at the addiction and trigger you each time. So if you let go of that,
Mm.
then you have a chance to go blossom up. But if you're
Okay.
hanging on to it, then you can't because you're like this. No
Yeah.
one will know.
And
So that's the first step. That's why in AA, number one is I'm an addict. My name is Maria. I'm an addict, right? Because it's like I'm not ashamed. So that's the first step. So if we can admit that, then we can move up the rung.
oh my gosh, I love this, Maria, so much. Oh my gosh, that was
Yay.
so good. And just before we're gonna go, when you hear words next level transformation, what is the first thing
Yes.
that comes to your mind?
You now. But well, next level transformation, it has to be going from dark, or for me,
Yeah,
dark to
yeah.
light, right? Because that's my world. Is addiction is dark, toxic, just everything bad. to light. It's that journey so that you can transform.
I love it so much. This is beautiful, Maria. I My heart to yours. I love you, girl. You are power
Thank
so
you.
much inside of you for sharing the knowledge, for giving so much. To me personally, I just loved you since the moment I saw it. There was a good energy, a spark. It's like, I need you to be here. And I'm so happy that you made it happen, that you are here. So thank you so much, Maria, for your time.
No, thank you for what you do. Please let me know when we can reconnect. And you said you were
Absolutely.
gonna do something,
Let's
so let
go.
me know when you want to introduce me to your group.
Absolutely.
And then we can, if you want to do this again, I'll be more prepared. And maybe if we do it in 6 months, 3 months, I'll have more people in my groups as well because I'm building at the moment. Like,
Absolutely. I'm up for that. And yes, 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 yes to everything. I want to
yes,
see you again, sis. It was beautiful. It was amazing. And could you stay, just don't go it yet, just for one sec. I'm just
yes,
gonna finish the live recording. Guys, thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. And if you have any questions, contact Maria. She's amazing, guys. Just thank you so much again. And one sec. Thank you. And I'm just gonna one sec.